Atifa was interrogated about the rumors she'd been having sex outside marriage. Under intense questioning by the judge, Atifa confessed to the secret of her alleged sexual abuse by Ali Darabi, a secret she'd kept so far, even from her own family.
It came out when Atifa was receiving lashes and being flogged. She cried out his name only under the beatings of the torture she'd received.
But the authorities did not place the responsibility for the relationship with the older man, Ali Darabi. Human rights advocates say it was he who should have been charged with rape. But under Iranian law, this would be almost impossible.
Generally, it is very difficult to prove rape in an Iranian court. You have to have the confession of the accused or a number of witnesses to the crime. And rapists can usually get away with it.
But once ensnared by the legal system, young Iranian women can find it difficult to get out, not realizing that the slightest mistake could result in the ultimate punishment.
This is the One Touch Ultra Mini.
The road that led to the execution of a teenage girl in Iran ended with her relationship with an older married man. Atifa Sahala claims that during a 3-year relationship, she was sexually abused by Ali Darabi. But he was never charged with rape. Instead, it was Atifa who was eventually convicted of crimes against chastity under Islamic Sharia law.
Men's work is accepted much more clearly and much more easily than women. I can say, no, she encouraged me. Or she didn't wear proper dress, for example, or she wasn't covered very well. No matter how hard she tries to say, this man is 51, nearly 4 times older than me, they won't believe it.
Frustrated with the court proceedings, Atifa is reported to have protested, shouting at the judge, and even throwing off her veil in anger.
She even threw her shoe at the judge during the trial. When a child is scared into doing things she wouldn't normally do, who can blame her?
The judge later referred in public to Atifa's sharp tongue and the fact that she'd undressed in court. For a girl with 3 previous convictions, it was a very dangerous outburst.
In the case of Atifa Sahala, conviction for crimes against chastity. As this is her 4th time, the sentence of execution by hanging has been issued.
Atifa wasn't married. The punishment should have been 80 lashes. The court should confess their mistake, a horrific mistake, that culminated in the execution of a young teenage girl.
Though accurate numbers are scarce, the filmmakers found 14 recent cases of women sentenced to death for crimes against chastity. In 2005, 2 young men were also executed for homosexual behavior. According to the letter of Sharia law, crimes against chastity are punishable by stoning to death in public. But since the 1990s, the judicial authorities in Iran have opted for a more modern method, hanging by crane. This footage of an execution for kidnapping in 2004 shows the deeply shocking reality of a public hanging. Recent cases of women sentenced to death for sex outside marriage have one important factor in common. Though Sharia law governing crimes against chastity dictates that men and women should receive the same punishment, the reality of sentencing in Iranian courts is very different.
We come across the same question all the time from commentators. Where are the men who are charged along with the women? The courts somehow deal more vigorously with the women than the men. Our weakest point and our downfall is that this is happening right in front of our eyes, and sadly we pretend that we don't see it.
Atifa's case was no different. While Atifa received the death sentence, Ali Dorabi was sentenced to just 95 lashes. Atifa's death sentence came as a shock to her hometown of Nekka. A local petition was drawn up in her support. Though the neighborhood petition the police had used to arrest her had been anonymous, this time 43 people put their names down to be counted.
Us, the locals of Nekka, are informed and witness that Atifa Sahale was arrested while there was nobody in the house with her. She suffers from severe psychological issues, we note, in order to put a halt to the verdict of execution.
From prison, Atifa wrote her own letter of defense.
I, Atifa Sahale, would like to file a complaint with regards to the sentence of execution. There are medical records that show I suffer from mental infirmity, and during certain times of the day, of complete mental lapses. I would like Your Honor to listen to my request for freedom.
But Atifa did have another very good chance at leniency. It was her age, just 16.
She was born in 1988. She was 16 when she was executed. She would have been 16.
In 2004, the head of the Iranian judiciary had reaffirmed the suspension of executions for those under 18. But here, the Nekka court made a mistake. In the documents that went to the Supreme Court of Appeal, Atifa is described as 22.
Neither the judge nor even Atifa's court-appointed lawyer did anything to find out her true age.
The judge just looked at her body because of developed physique. The judge declared her as a 22.
But Atifa's family was unaware of the error, and the appeal was heard in Tehran before they had time to react. Though appeals can take up to 6 months to be heard, Atifa's case was called within just 30